One by one, the travelers came out again onto the top of the beach and gazed carefully around. The moon was still shining as brightly as ever, and there were still plenty of huge, shimmering cloud mountains on all sides. But there were no cloud people in sight now. The beach's leading sheltered the old green grasshopper, peering over the side. It's full of holes and the juice is dripping out everywhere. That does it, cried the earthworm. If the beach is leaking, then we shall surely sink. Don't be so silly, the centipede told him. We are not in the water now. Oh, look, shouted the ladybird. Look, 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 over there. Everybody swung around to look. In the distance, and directly ahead of them, they now saw the most extraordinary sight. It was a kind of arch, a colossal curvy shaped thing that reached high up into the sky and came down again at both ends. The ends were resting upon a huge flat cloud that was as big as a desert. Now, what in the world is that? Asked James. It's a bridge. It's an enormous hoop cut in half. It's a giant horseshoe standing upside down. Stop me if I'm wrong, murmured the centipede, looking worried. But might those not be cloud people climbing all over it? There was a dreadful silence. The beach floated closer and closer. They are cloud people. There are hundreds of them. Thousands. Millions. I don't want to hear about it, shrieked the poor blind earthworm. I'd rather be on the end of a fish hook and use as bait than come up against those terrible creatures again. I'd rather be fried alive and eaten, wailed the old green grasshopper. Please be quiet, whispered James. It's our only hope. They crouched very still on top of the beach, staring at the cloud people. The whole surface of the cloud was literally swarming with them, and there were hundreds more up above climbing about on the monstrous arch. But what is that thing? Whispered the ladybird. And what are they doing? I don't care what they're doing to eat, the centipede said, sidling over to the tunnel entrance. I'm not staying up here. Goodbye. But the rest of them were too frightened or too hypnotized by the whole affair to make a move. Do you know what? James whispered. What? They say. What? That enormous arch. They seem to be painting it. They've got pots of paint and big brushes. You looked. And he was quite right. The travelers were close enough now to see that this was exactly what the cloud people were doing. They all had the huge brushes in their hands, and they were splashing the paint onto the great curvy arch in a frenzy of speed, so fast in fact that a few minutes of the whole arch became covered with the most glorious colors: red, blues, greens, yellows, and purples. It's a rainbow, everyone said at once. They are making a rainbow. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Just look at those colors. Centipede, they shouted. You must come up and see this. They were so enthralled by the beauty or brilliance of the rainbow that they forgot to keep their voices low any longer. The centipede poked his head cautiously out of the tunnel. Well, he said. I've always wondered how those things were made. But why all the ropes? What are they doing with those ropes? Good heavens, they are pushing it off the cloud, cried James. There it goes. They are lowering it down to the earth with ropes. And I'll tell you something, the centipede said sharply. If I'm not greatly mistaken, we ourselves are going to bump right into it. Bless my soul, he's right, the old green grasshopper exclaimed. The rainbow was right now dangling in the air below the cloud. The beach was also just below the level of the cloud, and it was heading directly towards the rainbow, traveling rather fast. We are lost, Miss Spider cried, wiggling her feet again. The end has come. I can't stand it, wailed the earthworm. Tell me what's happening. We are going to miss it, shouted the ladybird. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Yes, now. Oh my heavens. Hold on, everybody, James called out, and suddenly there was a tremendous thud as the beach went crashing into the top of the rainbow. This followed by an awful splintering noise as the enormous rainbow snapped in right across the meadow and became two separate pieces. The next thing that happened was extremely unfortunate. The ropes that the cloud people had been using following the rainbow got tangled up with the silk strings that went up on the beach of the seagulls. The beach was trapped, panic and pandemonium broke out among the travelers, and James Henry Trotter, glancing up quickly, saw the faces of 1,000 furious cloud people peering down at him over the edge of the cloud. The faces had almost no shape at all because of the long white hairs that covered them. There were no noses, no mouths, no ears, no chins. Only the eyes were visible in each face. Two small eyes glinting malevolently through the airs. Then came the most frightening thing of all. One cloud person, a huge hairy creature who must have been 14 feet tall at least, suddenly stood up and made a tremendous leap off the side of the cloud, trying to get to one of the silk strings above the beach. James and his friends saw them go flying through the air above them, their arms outstretched in front of them, reaching for the nearest string, and they saw them grab it and cling to it with their hands and legs, and then they very slowly, hand over hand, began to climb down the string. Mercy, help! Save us, cried the ladybird. They're going down to eat us, wailed the old green grasshopper. Jump overboard. Then eat the earthworm first, shouted the centipede. It's no good eating me. I'm full of bones like a keeper. Centipede, yelled James quickly. Bite through the string, the one they're coming down on. The centipede rushed over to the stem of the beech and took the silk string in his teeth and bit through it with one snap of his jaw. Immediately far above them, a single seagull was seen to jump away from the rest of the flock and go flying off with a long string trailing from its neck and cling desperately to the end of the string. Shouting and cursing with fury, the huge hairy cloud person. Up and up they went, swinging across the moonlit sky, and James Henry Trotter, watching with delight, said, "My goodness, they must weigh almost nothing at all for one seagull to be able to pull them up like that. They must be all hair and air." The rest of the cloud people were so flabbergasted at seeing one of their company carried away in this manner that they let go of the ropes they were holding, and then of course down went the rainbow, both halves of it together, tumbling towards the earth below. This freed the pitch, which at once began sailing away from that terrible cloud. But the travelers were not in the clear yet. The infuriated cloud people jumped up and ran after them along the cloud, pelting them mercilessly with all sorts of hard and horrible objects: empty paint buckets, paint brushes, step ladders, stools, saucepans, frying pans, rotten eggs, dead rats, bottles of hair oil. Anything those brutes could lay their hands on came raining down upon the beach. One cloud person, taking a very careful aim, tipped a gallon of thick purple paint over the edge of the cloud, right onto the centipede himself. The centipede screamed with anger. "My legs," he cried, "they are all sticking together. I can't walk, and my eyelids won't open. I can't see. And my boots are ruined." But for the moment everyone was far too busy dodging the pins that the cloud people were trying to pay any attention to the centipede. The paint is drying," he moaned. "It's going hard. I can't move my legs. I can't move anything." "You can still move your mouth," the earthworm said, "and that is a great pity." "James," spoke the centipede, "please help me. Wash off this paint. Strip it off. Anything."